Stop being a cheerleader for your city. It's costing you trust. And without trust, nothing else you say matters. A lot of realtors believe that their job is to sell the city. So they show up on a video and they talk about how perfect everything is. The weather's amazing, the schools are incredible, the lifestyle's unbeatable, the traffic is not that bad. Everything sounds polished, everything sounds positive, and it sounds like a commercial, if you will. And that is a problem because buyers are not looking for a commercial. They're looking for clarity. And when everything you say sounds perfect, it creates a disconnect. The viewers start to question it, not consciously, but instinctively, because they know that no place is perfect. Every city has a trade-off, every neighborhood has drawbacks, every lifestyle has a cost. So when your content only highlights the positives, you're not building trust. You're building skepticism, and that skepticism over time compounds. Every perfect statement that you make adds a little more doubt, and you start to sound less like an advisor and more like someone that's trying to sell something. And once that happens, the relationship's already weakened before it even begins. Trust is not built on how many good things you can say. It's built on how willing you are to tell the truth when it's easier not to. When you look at the data, the highest converting real estate videos are not the ones that are celebrating a city. They're the ones that are challenging it. They're the ones that say, here is why you might regret to move to this city. Or here's what people struggle with when they live here. Here's what nobody tells you. And most agents avoid that approach. They worry that it might not be perceived well. They worry that other agents might think something negative, and they don't want to sound negative. But what they're actually avoiding is the fastest way to build credibility. Today, I want to show you a concept that changes everything on how your content performs. It's called the negative hook. And when you understand how it works, you will start to see your content differently, because it's not about being negative, it's about being real. Then there's a reason why this works, and it goes much deeper than marketing. It comes down to how people are wired. The human brain is designed to prioritize risk before opportunity, before reward, before anything else. Because at a biological level, our brains are designed to keep us safe. When someone is considering moving to a new city, they're not just thinking about the upside, they're thinking about what can also go wrong. They're thinking about making a mistake or buying in the wrong area, overpaying, choosing a place that just doesn't fit their lifestyle. And these risks are real to them. So when they're scrolling through YouTube, their brain is filtering content differently. A video titled "Top Reasons to Move to This City," it just feels like a pitch. It's predictable. Their brains move past it. But a video titled "Why You Might Regret Moving Here" feels important. It feels relevant. It creates tension. And that tension creates attention. Because a viewer might think, if I'm about to make a big decision, I need to understand the downside. That is the moment where they've earned your focus. And more importantly, you've earned their permission to lead. Because now you are not positioned as someone that's trying to sell something, you're positioned as someone that's trying to protect them. And people trust protectors. In sales, this concept is often called a damaging admission. You acknowledge a flaw before anyone else has a chance to question it. And when you do that, you completely change the dynamic. Think about how people read reviews. Nobody goes straight to the 5-star reviews anymore. They look for the balanced ones or even the bad ones. The ones that say, hey, this is good, but here's where it falls short. That kind of feedback feels honest. It feels grounded. It feels real. And because it feels real, it becomes more believable. The same principle applies to your content. When you say something like, look, the property taxes in this area are significantly higher than other counties, you're doing something that most agents avoid. You're telling the truth, even when it introduces friction. And that one moment changes how everything else you say is perceived. Because now the viewer is thinking, if they're willing to say that, then they're probably honest about everything else too. And that is the shift. You move from being perceived as a salesperson to being there as a consultant, and a consultant gets trusted. Now, that doesn't mean that your content becomes negative. There's a structure to this, a way that you can present both sides without losing the viewer. It's called the sandwich method, and it is one of the most effective ways to communicate both value and honesty. Step 1 is the opening. You establish why the city is worth even considering. You give them context. You highlight something meaningful, something real, something as an example as the food scene here is one of the strongest in the area. People travel hours to experience the variety of food that we have. Because we have so much variety, it just makes it easy to pick something new every week. That sets the stage. It shows that there's value. And then you can move on to step 2, which is the reality. You introduce the trade-off. Clearly, directly, without softening anything. For example, the challenge is that everyone else also knows that we have awesome food, which means that during peak hours, traffic in these areas are really bad, and getting to the spot can take a lot longer than you thought. Now the viewer has a full picture, not just the upside, but the cost that comes with it. Step 3 is the solution. This is where your expertise comes in. You can guide them, you can show them how to navigate the trade-off. As an example, this is why buyers who prioritize lifestyle often choose to live closer to these areas, even if it means a little bit of a higher price point, because it reduces the travel time and it makes the experience so much more accessible. Now, you're not just pointing out the problem, you're helping them solve it, and that's what creates value. This approach does something else that most realtors tend to overlook. It filters your audience. Not every viewer should become a client, although we might want that, but they shouldn't. If someone watches your content and they realize that a city is just not a right fit for them, that's a good outcome because it saves you time. It prevents misalignment. It allows you to focus on the people who are actually serious. The viewers who continue watching even after hearing the drawbacks are the ones that are already qualified. They understand the trade-offs, they accept them, and they trust you because you are honest. Those are the clients you want. So if you're holding back because you're concerned about how your content's going to be perceived, it's worth reconsidering the approach. Again, the goal is not just to sound positive, the goal is to be useful. It's to help, because the buyers you want to work with are not looking for someone who tells them what they want to hear. They're looking for someone who can help them make the right decision. And when your content reflects that, everything changes. You attract better conversations, you build stronger trust, and your content starts to work for you instead of just sitting there. And in the next video, I'm going to break down how to structure these types of videos so you can consistently generate engagement and leads. Because once you understand how to present your information this way, it becomes a competitive advantage.